Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, lovely people. This is Marie Alessi. I was so looking forward to coming live with you and sharing a few things that have been going on in the last couple of weeks, months, maybe even over a year. And I am going to have my phone here with me. So in case anybody wants to comment or ask questions or send me some love, please go ahead and do so. I will do my best to keep an eye on the chat while I am doing this announcement. And I want to start by sharing a little bit of the history of Loving Love After Loss for those of you who are new to this group, because we had quite a few new people joining over the last couple of weeks and months. And as most of you know, Rob, my beautiful husband, love of my life, passed very unexpectedly on the 12th of June, 2018. So in a month from today, there is his 5-year anniversary of his passing. And hey, Cheryl, thank you so much for being here. And hence I chose today to share a few things about that, and you'll understand soon why. And when Rob passed away, the boys were only 10 and 8. And I knew in my heart that I wanted a different story for them than I had when my dad passed away. I was 20 when my dad passed away, and I handled grief very, very differently back then, meaning I literally almost drowned in victimhood. Hey Terry, I'm so glad you're here. I really felt very sorry for myself, and everybody in the outside world would have probably thought, well, fair enough, you know, she lost her dad really young. And I truly felt back then that I was all alone in this, that I had no support, that I had nobody in my circle of friends that understood what I was going through, because nobody else had experienced that. So naturally, I felt very alone. Like even when I went out and I, tried to have like a normal life and go out to parties, etc. Sometimes I felt extremely alone in a room full of people. And I understand that a lot of you here might be able to relate what I'm talking about here. So Rob and I were lucky in such that we had the opportunity to have the what if conversation. And I understand that not many people or not everybody gets the chance to actually talk about the what if. What would happen if something was to happen to you or I? And that conversation was actually triggered by a fatal accident that Rob had to take a detour that day because of a fatal accident. And he came home and he told me about it. And he was actually a young dad who lost his life in a car crash that day. And we sat in our bed that night, and we were naturally very, very touched by that story because our boys were so young. So that triggered that conversation. What would we do if that was to happen? And we had 2 or 3 conversations like that over the years, and the conversations usually ended something along those lines. I would want you to take the boys and create the happiest life possible. And I remember that particular night, Rob and I chatted about this, and I remember saying to him, babe, I love you so much. I can't imagine you not being with someone, sharing your love, sharing your life with, and in particular for the boys are so little. I would want them to have somebody in their life, like a female influence, if that makes sense. And we said that to each other. We wanted that for each other. And I literally came to this conclusion over the years and the work that I've been doing here with Loving Love After Loss, that love is simple. Love just wants you to be happy. So for anyone watching this, if you take anything away from this, then this is exactly the message I would want you to get. Love just wants you to be happy. And that's what we wanted for each other. So over the time, I worked with a beautiful psychologist, Emily May. She used to come in about once a month to have interviews with me and to speak about certain topics around grief. And it was really, really beautiful. She helped me so much on my journey. And I remember having this conversation with her one day in her office, where I told her about my approach to grief, my understanding of grief being so, so different to what society expects from me. And she asked me, what does grief mean to you, Marie? And I've shared this many times in interviews, but for those of you who haven't heard it, that moment I felt, wow, the first word that came up for me was empowerment, and I didn't expect that. I certainly did not expect empowerment in grief. Having gone through this journey over the past 5 years, I totally understand, and this is my spiritual belief, that Rob was there to support me all along. You know, he has guided me on this path, he has accompanied me, he has protected me, and very often really showed me the way forward. And I remember when I had to share the news with the boys, that sentence became my North Star. I want you to take the boys and create the happiest life possible. In that very moment, I had no idea how to, but I knew that that was my lighthouse, my North Star, you know. And when I shared that with Emily in the office, what empowerment came up for me in this journey, I said to her, I think I need to write a book about this. And she said, yeah, I think that would be great. So about 4 weeks later, I had written and published the book, Loving Life After Loss, which planted the seed for this very movement. I had shared my story, how I approached grief very differently, and what my understanding and my spiritual journey with all of that was. And I did not expect for the book to become an Amazon #1 bestseller and rank in the top 100 of Australia. And that's when I realized I had something the world needed: hope, happiness, healing, all those things that people need the most and expect the least when it comes to grief. And some of you know that I took the boys traveling around the world after the book was published. And we traveled for about 2 months all around the world. And when I was in Vienna, I had this epiphany: I need to do something with this. I need to do more with this. And I reached out to a mentor that I had been following for a while. And he said, yeah, let's do this. And he taught me how to create a movement, how to, it started off with a group. But to me, Loving Life After Loss was so much more than just a group. It really was a movement, a way of living, and also a filter for those people coming into the movement, because nobody would click on a title like this without wanting what we had. We've really created such a special place here, you know, where I looked into so many other grief support groups where I didn't feel a lot of support, where I felt often there was this comparison battles at its finest, you know, whose husband was younger, who had younger kids, who didn't even have the chance to have kids. So there's all these comparison going on, and comparison does not help us heal. We need to be there for each other. We need to hold space for each other. That's exactly what I wanted. And I feel that we've done this really, really well in our movement here. Over the years, I really learned how to deal with that, how to handle it, how to really step into leadership. And that had such a beautiful and profound impact on my own healing journey. And I also felt that I had created some sort of responsibility for me to really step up in my own healing. And the more I did that, the more I created a bigger and better and deeper and more beautiful space for others to come in as well and hold space for them on their healing journey. Through my own experience, what I learned that had helped me, the steps, the tools, the thought process, the shifts in perspective, I created healing journeys and programs and retreats over the years that I held for people, that I passed on, that I offered. And I'm really, really happy and proud to say that over the past 4.5 years, we have taken over 4,000 people on their healing journey, some of them sitting on the sidelines, others participating really actively, and some very, very special people, I'll get to that later, have stepped up to become moderators in our group. And my heart is just so full of gratitude for you guys, because you have helped me to stay sane, to step up, to support me when I was feeling that I needed more love, more support, more space, more time for myself. Whenever I stepped back, you guys stepped up. Often people didn't even know when I was away, because my moderators really stepped up for me to give me space for my own healing journey. And sometimes, quite simply, I needed a break. So The first year was incredible. We had quite a bit of media attention. We just in the first year alone doubled the group, like, going from, I think we were around the 950 people at the end of the first year. And then this beautiful article came out in Mamma Mia and doubled the group within 2 or 3 weeks, which was incredible. And we've just been growing steadily and nicely ever since. And last year, 2022, was, I believe, one of my biggest years for me in this movement. We had an incredible amount of media attention. I've been approached by Mamma Mia to do, I think, my third or fourth article in there. I've been asked by them to be interviewed for their podcast, and then Channel 7 reached out to me, and Channel 9. And at the beginning of the year, I published my second book, which is Happy Healing. And Happy Healing really writes about, or I share in this book, what I have done since the first book came out, speaking about creating the movement. And also I'm sharing my steps in there, my most important steps that I have shared in my journey from grief to relief, that beautiful healing journey that is still available as a DIY, just on the sideline. I'll definitely be sharing the links and quite a few other links in the comments below. And then I've done my first TEDx talk, redefining our image of a widow. So it's been a huge, huge year for me. And so then I've gone onto my very personal and own journey of deep diving, self-discovery. What has the movement brought up for me? Working in this healing space for over 4 years now, I have had my fair share of going through sort of burnout moments, sometimes deeper, sometimes just on the sideline and on the verge of. And these were the moments when I stepped back, and the Mod Squad, my beautiful team of moderators, stepped up for me and held space for the group, for you guys. And so over a year now, I've sort of been sitting with this thought. And about 3 weeks ago, I went away with this decision in my heart, and I needed to sit with it because it was such a really, really enormous decision for me. And I allowed myself to take an entire long weekend away from the kids, from the movement, from social media, switch off my phone for 4 days, sit at the beach, to just sit and be and really dive within. What is it that Marie wants? What do I want? What makes me happy? And when I came away from this weekend, I knew that I had to walk away from loving life after loss. So I'm really, really grateful that you guys are sitting here with me and holding space for me to share this as an announcement. And I also knew that I didn't want to just smack the door and run. It didn't feel like that. I did not want to run away from something so precious, something that I have developed and grown over the past 4.5 years. I knew that I wanted to do this slowly, gently, and in my own time. And then something fell in my lap that I thought, it is such divine timing. Last week, I went on an ancient ceremonies retreat, and it really gave me the opportunity to, again, just really sit with that decision, to ask for guidance, how I would like to do this, how I would like to wrap up the movement and do this in a really beautiful and gentle way. So with that, I just knew I wanted to do it today, because again, today is the 12th of May. It's 1 month before Rob's 5th anniversary of passing. And to me, that is the perfect day. It's like a closing of the circle of my journey through grief, through healing. And it is time for me to step out and love my life after loss, and solely be responsible for my own life and for my boys, and lovingly and gently lay down the responsibility for this movement. And what I'm going to do is, on the 12th of June, I will be archiving this movement, meaning that whoever is in the movement, whoever is in the group, can still access everything that we have created, that we have shared, the DIY journeys, the healing journeys, all the interviews that we have in there, the meaningful mindsets, the Ask the Expert interviews. There is the resource corner. where people can literally find other resources that will help them along the way. And that will all stay open for you guys. So, in other words, the group won't be active anymore, but all the treasures that we have created over the years, all the beautiful people that came in for interviews, sharing their stories, sharing their resources and skills, are still available for you. So at this stage, I just want to urge you and nudge you, if you have any people in your life that you feel could benefit from that, please allow them into the group. You have exactly 1 month from now to reach out to other people, invite them into the group if they want to have access to that, because the access will only stay open to the people who are in the group. And with that being said, if anybody wants to reach out to me, either to sit with me, to have a chat with me in person, or to ask, is there any way that we can still work together before the movement gets archived? Yes, until the 11th of June, the day before, I will be available for anybody who wants to book a session with me, book a VIP day with me, because now I feel my heart is at peace. There's so much beautiful energy coming in. I feel so much lightness and just really, this really amazing feeling in my heart that I am doing the right thing. And with that, I feel there's a lot of positive and beautiful energy available for anybody who still wants to get that one-on-one in with me. You have exactly 4 weeks on the 11th of June. Until then, I'll be available for chats. And after that, the day after, 12th of June, I'll be archiving the group. So on the 12th of June itself, I won't be available for anyone. I just want to make this very, very clear. This is just a very sacred date for me to archive the group on that day. That is the one thing. So that was my big announcement. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for sitting here and holding space for me and listening to this. I also wanted to share a couple of highlights that I had over the years. I know that one of my highlights was running the first retreat, which was in November 2019. I remember when I first opened the doors to Loving Love After Loss, I knew that in November I'll be running a retreat. I thought I really want that on the 22nd of November. It was a special date for me because the 22nd of November 2011 was when I first started my own business in the coaching space, and then merged my personal experience with what I've been doing before, mindset coaching, into this movement. So I ran the first retreat, and I know that one of the people there was Terry. Terry is one of our beautiful moderators who's been with me from literally almost the beginning. And I'll never forget when Terry first reached out to me, and we had, I think it was almost like a midnight phone conversation. And I know Terry's watching right now, and I actually asked her before, I said, is it okay if I share your story as one of my highlights? And she said, absolutely, because you were one of mine. And I'm like, oh, thank you so much. And I remember so many stories when Terry told me that, oh my God, I can't believe you're actually real. I'm always seeing this person like I am now, going online, speaking, talking to people, but you're actually real. And we had this beautiful heart-to-heart conversation about her only son that she lost. And I have taken Terry, like many others, on a really, really intense and beautiful healing journey. And watching you grow and heal through your own journey, and then what you do for others and passing on the love and the healing, really warmed my heart. There were so many incredible moments. I can't even put them all together. A very beautiful person in this group, and I don't want to mention names here, and some of them we're connected and might know, but being on the streets at 4 a.m. and seeing suicide as the only option, and then coming through my program and my retreat, and now planning the wedding. And I just really love that full circle moment, losing a partner, going through deepest grief, through suicide ideation, and then coming out, and now getting married. And that, to me, when I look back, is one of many, many highlights that I'll always have in my heart. And knowing that I was part of that, I just feel so much gratitude. And with the topic of gratitude, I have no words whatsoever. I really thought, how could I ever express that in words? But you beautiful people in my mod squad, in my team of moderators, Terry, Madison Davis, you have changed my world in such a beautiful way. You've always been such an amazing asset. Like, you've just been there for me, holding space like a trooper. And, by you giving back to me, as in sharing your gratitude about what I have achieved in your life, by sharing the tools and the techniques that we teach, and seeing it work its magic in your life, has given back so much for me, for my heart, for my, this is all making sense. This is such a huge purpose for me. Shalina Stephenson, who is in Canada. I know that you're asleep right now, or at least I think so. And I have always referred to as my Canadian parallel universe, because our stories are so similar. The relationship that we had with our husbands were so similar. Everything that you shared about your beautiful Bruce, I thought, yeah, that was just like Rob. It's almost like they're probably like buddies over there right now, and smiling down on both of us. But having you in my life, it was really so beautiful, like feeling I have gained such a beautiful, very close friend over there. And I can't wait for you to come to Australia, hopefully in October, and squeeze you in person and spend some time with you. I cannot thank you enough for your encouragement and holding space for me, and the many, many hours of conversations we had over the phone. Christopher, I'm taking you in order of appearance, I believe, how you came into the mod squad. Christopher Kruber, you have really given me something that was so incredibly special to me. I really have no words how to actually thank you for that, because when I first started the movement, I remember that one of my biggest fears was, what if a parent comes in that is talking about child loss and gives me that, you've got no idea what you're talking about, Marie. And there is this comparison, there is this belief that there is no worse loss than child loss. And I was always one of those people believing that, until I met you. And you have lost your son, and you were the first person to shift that perspective for me and say, who are we to put hierarchy on the different forms of grief? Everybody has got a different journey, a different form of grief, a different relationship, a different space, a different spiritual belief. Let's not go into comparison. Let's not go into hierarchy. What is worse? What is not as bad? You cannot talk like that in the space of grief at all. Every journey of grief is the worst journey for yourself, and even when I say that the worst journey, I think of, how I experienced grief through losing my dad, and how I experienced grief when Rob passed away. And saying it's the worst journey sounds so wrong to me. And I'm not going to attempt to lessen what I've experienced through Rob's passing at all. Yet what I have learned through that was my own spiritual journey has really changed so dramatically, as in my perspective about Rob's passing has changed so much. And there was a point in my life that came not too long after Rob's passing where I realized this is part of our soul journey. We have chosen that. This is our soul contract, Rob and mine, and nobody in the entire world can change that belief for me, because I could feel it in my heart that we have chosen that. And that gave me so much peace and so much healing. So I just really want to thank you, Christopher, for bringing this perspective in, that we are not here to judge whose grief is worse or not. We are here to hold space for each other. We're here to bring healing to the world. And you have done an amazing job by doing that, and by supporting me, and by always being there. I'm like, whatever you need, you name it, I'll be there to back you up. I'll be there to support you, and I felt that very much. So I really want to thank you. And last but not least, the very latest member of our mod squad is Cheryl. Cheryl Melchior Holland, and you have brought so much organizational skills into the mod squad when I needed space to step away from exactly that. And I really want to thank you for that. I know we had some jokes about that, but you have no idea how much I needed that. And you came in at the perfect time. And you came in towards the tail end of running Loving Love After Loss, yet you came in at the absolute perfect time. And watching you step up in the movement and being there and holding space for people was just incredibly beautiful, and I really want to thank you for that. I'm just looking up because I've got this beautiful heart that you gave me hanging right above me, and I'm looking at it, and that is what I wanted to share with everyone. So I'm just going to quickly use my glasses here to make sure that I haven't forgotten anything, because I just want to also look at, if I can open it again, look at, here we go. If there are, Heather, I'll always be grateful. Oh my God, this is so beautiful. There are all these comments coming in. For our path crossing, Marie, I would love to sit with you from a distance before you take. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'd love that. To other people, yes. Okay. Oh, look at all of you guys. I love that. Terry and Cheryl actually were watching live. So I'm so grateful that you say that. Heather, because I have put an event in the group, and obviously this is for people in and around Sydney. I have put in an event where I called it Farewell Marie, because I'm going to Europe 4 days after I archived the group. So for me, it is absolute divine timing. And I wanted to sit and have coffee with a few people and get to know you in person before I go to Europe, and also to say my farewell. But obviously at the stage of posting that, I hadn't made the announcement yet, and I didn't want to tell people that this is my actual farewell also from the group, not just for going to Europe. So anyone who is around on the 10th of June, I would love for you to come to Circular Quay, and there's this beautiful cafe on top of the Museum of Contemporary Art. It opens at 10 a.m, I believe, and that's when I scheduled the event for. I can't remember if I did for 10 or 10:30, but I'll be there from 10. And I'd love to give you a hug. I'd love to sit with you, and I'll be there no matter if there's 2 people or 20, I will be there to meet with you. And with that, I just want to wrap this up by giving you a massive, massive thank you from the bottom of my heart, because by holding space for you and creating healing journeys and programs and retreat for you, I have also gained so much healing and growth from creating this group, creating this movement, and having so many people come through to support us in holding space, sending love, sharing the healing, sharing the journeys. It was such a win-win situation for me, and my heart is with it, like filled to the brim with gratitude. And with that, I'll be taking it with me, and I will have this in my heart forever. So again, I'll be sharing those links that I just mentioned. If you want to book a chat with me, if you want to book a VIP day with me, there won't be many more left over. So this is literally going to be just from now till the 11th of June. Then please do reach out to me. I'd be so honored to do that with you. And last but not least, there's one more thing that just came up for me. 10th or 13th of August, I will be speaking at Camp Widows in Brisbane. So I have made that commitment, and I'm actually really, really looking forward to that. And I have already had a few people reach out to me in terms of the retreat, because I pulled back from the May retreat because I realized I have not enough energy left to run this retreat. But with me stepping away and archiving the group, and then running the doing the speaking gig in August at Camp Widows, I have decided to run one last retreat towards the end of the year, most likely second week of October, dates to be confirmed. So for anybody being interested in a one-on-one, a VIP day, or the very final retreat in October, please do reach out to me and let me know. Bucket loads and oodles of love to all of you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for everything that you have gifted me, and for all the beautiful messages that I have received over the past 4.5 years. I'm absolutely floored. Thank you. I love you. This is Marie signing off. Bye for now.